Hi, my name is Shelly Austin, and I'm going to talk to you about my observation video of Miss Archie in her fourth grade math class. What you're going to see is you're going to see her doing a problem-solving activity with one problem with her students. And throughout the time that I was observing her class, I was looking for how she approached different learning differences among her students, that she did have a multicultural awareness of the different students in her class, and we are a predominantly Title I campus, predominantly Hispanic. So her multicultural awareness, we do have a bit of a bilingual program, so they are allowed to talk to one another, and she does have, different things on her walls that helps the students. I did also observe her gender sensitivity and how she addresses boys versus girls. And I was also very aware of and was looking for her ethnic appreciation for the different students. In fourth grade math, we are trying to get students to use problem solving, not just to answer the question, but to work together. And then there's a step that they're going to work through. There's an actual board that we have as a district that we want the students to work through, so they get so used to using this problem solving board and this problem solving strategy that as they move on, they're able to take that strategy and use it in word problems on the STAR test or just throughout their academic career in Grand Prairie. So what we're going to be observing is Miss Archie, how she deals with students, how she presents the problem-solving activity, and how her students then present that to the rest of the class and show that they have an understanding of what they should be doing in math and through the problem-solving process and helping one another through this.
Problem solving of the day. This one is, we're going to give you about 3 minutes with your group. The first one. I'll let it play.
Communicate ideas. The total weight for all people on each trip cannot be more than 1,000 pounds. Can groups A and D go together and not be over the weight limit? Explain.
Okay, at your table together, figure out, I need an explanation, and figure out, if that's true, if they can go together or not. Together, guys.
They don't go. Yeah, they do. So, A and B. It says A. No, they can't be. They can't. Because it just.
You can keep figuring it out. I need a Y though, Ian. Why?
Because it says that they're at. Okay. It says A and D only take 1,000 pounds. Now this thing is 1,000 pounds, but this is 914, which it said it could be took 1,000. This is less than 1,000, so it's available.
Available. Very good. Good job.
I got mine.
Let's see. Inside.
Oh yeah, you. Is that 4? Okay.
Do you think you did it wrong?
Yes.
Why do you think it's wrong? You just didn't show your work. Do you think it is?
Okay, look.
14 minus 1,000 equals 86.
First we have to do a statement.
Do what?
914 minus 1,000 equals 86.
So 914 minus 1,000 equals 86. Is that what you did right here?
Yes, and I added.
Hold on. Does this say 914 minus 1,000 equals 86?
Oh.
I don't think
What does it say?
I say no because if you add it up, then it's 1,009.
Let me see.
It's not 1,009.
Yes, it is.
It's just
You see what you did wrong, Santiago?
What?
Earlier. No, now.
What?
No, do you see what you did wrong earlier?
Over here?
Yes.
Oh,
Earlier,
Yes.
not now.
yes.
Okay.
But this is very right.
No, first we need to do a statement.
Oh, I see what you're doing. I need you to read the problem again. Look at your back part. You guys are working together. Where's your side?
Wait, yeah, look. I did my statement. Let me explain it.
They said
The way. What's the question? Because. Oh, that's the way.
Can you give me a marker square for this room?
What's the question?
Okay, I need you to read the question again and look at the table better and see if your numbers are right.
And not being overweight.
Put your eyes.
That's the question we're gonna write. The weight will be.
Why? So what's the answer? Yes, no, what? What's the answer? Am I asking for a number answer or am I asking for words?
Wait, so there you go. The weight will be. And then if I now. You didn't do that? No. Why you write we?
Yes.
We're done.
Okay, 1 second. All right. Do I have one table
Yes.
that wants to present together?
Yes. Yes. There's 3 steps. I got it.
This table.
Whoa.
If you have the answer, what should you do to yourself?
Pat yourself on the back.
Good job. All right. Can you explain to us, Ian? I want everyone to put their tap on their marker and watch Ian and Lily and Ivy. It's already. Oh.
Is that one right?
Yes.
Well, it says that the total weight for all people on each trip account cannot be more than 1,000 pounds. Well, we should on the line of 1,000 pounds. Can group A and D to go together and not be over the weight limit? Explain. Well, okay.
So if we add A and D together,
How do you know those numbers are A and D?
because A
Uh-huh.
and D is right here, and total weight in pounds would be right here. So we would add 361 is like 553.
Okay.
And 3 plus 1 equals 4. 5 plus 6 equals 14. Wait, oh,
No, it's okay, it's okay.
put a 4 there.
Oh, yeah.
What does 5 plus 6 equal?
11.
You look there, 8. She definitely said,
It's okay. What does 5 plus 6 equal, Lily? Lily, what does 5 plus 6 equal?
11.
Thank you.
5 plus 3 equals 8. Yeah, 8. And then plus 1 equals.
Okay. So is that the answer?
Yes.
Is the answer 914?
No.
Hold on. It's their description. They're describing to us. Ivy, is the answer 914? Scoot over to the side, guys. What? What do y'all think, group mates? Is the answer that I'm looking for 914?
No.
What am I looking for? No, help her. Help her. is the answer?
I wish I found that table would be easy.
She's like so quiet.
Let's see. Should we be playing with this if we jump right in? It's okay. Just try to take it or move it and scratch it out. It's okay, Lily. Let her ride rubber. So A and D cannot be together?
Can. The correct answer. Can. Just scratch it out. Okay.
Alright, so
Can.
if she put cannot, why can they be together? How do you know they can be together, Lily?
Because it is not over the weight limit. Because it says 1,000 and 914 is not over the weight limit.
What is 914?
Under 1,000.
Okay.
So it can be together because it's not over 1,000.
Okay.
It takes about
Does everybody agree?
It takes about 100.
Some people might be confused because they're gonna be like, that's not the answer because they're gonna find out what.
You're right, Santiago. Some people might think that 914 is the answer. But what should they do? What should they do?
They're gonna say, what's the limit? How much would it be? Like, if they had a certain amount of number, any number, it's $114 for the pound, so how many pounds? Like, it's lower than, how many pounds do you need to add to 914 to get 1,000? Or you could do 1,000 minus 914.
You're right. That's a whole different question, though, right? This time, what were they asking? They were asking for
Can they?
yes, so a yes or no. I love how that y'all's yes or no turned into a sentence. It's kind of like one of our statements, and I love it. So yes, A and D can be together.
Because.
Got it? All right. What I want you to do is erase it, and I want you to get out your math journals. And no, I don't.
That notebook.
I want you to just use your dry erase markers.
Yay! Can we erase it though?
Just erase that.
You changed it again.
Yeah, I don't even know how that happened. The picture of Sloan sideways. When you touch it when you're doing something else, I changed the backdrop on accident. When I'm like reading a PowerPoint, I change the backdrop to whatever. But the picture of Sloan laying sideways, no idea how it happened. It's pretty funny.
Today touched it once and it was in the yard kit.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened.
I was like in a can.
All right. I'm sorry. You are going to build a T-shot. You're copying what mine says. That's-
Students and
Okay, write that and then show me that you're ready to move on. Says the machine.
Oh,
Who do you think the machine is?
you.
Sure am.
You should have just put teacher.
I like the machine way better.
The machine.
All right,
The machine. Can I call you?
I'm waiting on you to show me you're ready, Hayden.
I'm ready.
Wait, can I name my group?
Show me, don't tell me. All right, Mr. Juan. Under students, go write any number you want.
Hey, buddy.
Hayden, what do you think?
No.
This is not something that's supposed to be.
Why is it
Why is it green? Because I changed the color for fun.
Why are
Right.
you laughing?
Two.
Luis, go put a number.
Actually, no, me. Oh.
Put a number on students.
Really?
I think it's
You're making a robot sound.
Ishmael.
Oh, don't be 36.
Still waiting.
Yes.
I know that. I know that.
All right, it looks like some of us are starting to figure out what I'm doing. What am I doing? Raise your hand. Kenosha.
You're multiplying them by 2.
So why do you think I called myself the machine? Why am I making ridiculous noises?
Because
Ishmael, thank you.
it's a machine of in and out.
It is a machine. I am the machine. So what are you? So Hayden, what did y'all give me? You give me numbers, and I'm doing something funky in the background.
No, you're calculating it. You're calculating it.
I am. Is that the best machine you've ever heard in your whole life?
No,
Maybe.
Oh, come on, Hayden. Give me some credit. All right. So what am I? In my machine, what am I doing in the background? When I make all those funky noises, what am I doing right now to each number?
You're making that funny noise because robots or machines sometimes calculate stuff.
Okay, so what am I calculating? How did I calculate? How did I spit out this number out of my machine?
Easy. Double the numbers.
I doubled it. So what operation is doubling?
Multiplying.
Multiplying. So what am I multiplying by? Garrett. 2. So 9 times 2 is 18.
Yes.
Is 18 times 2 36?
Yeah.
I sure hope so. I messed up.
No,
Huh?
it's not. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Ian, is 12 times 2 24? Okay, now I have a question. Could I do any other operation to get from, how would I get from here, from the machine, back to the student side? I want you to take about 30 seconds, talk to your table, and tell me how you would get from the machine to the student side. What operation?
Well, you're
How you gonna get there?
I also thought
Flipping it. Is flipping it a mathematical operation? Talk to your people. What do you think? What do y'all think over here? Bye. Wow! What do y'all think? Check what? You're thinking what? Multiply what? We multiply by 2 to get from here to here. How do I get from here to here? What do y'all think? What am I subtracting? 2? 18 minus 2 is 9 times 2 is oh, close!
Oh, yes!
Alright, so I have a lot of people that think they know. This table, 1. How can I get from the machine to the student side?
by dividing.
Dividing by what?
2.
So what he's saying is I can go from here to here If I divide 24 divided by 2 equals, markers closed for now, please. Markers closed. Lily. So 24 divided by 2 equals
24.
Luis, what does 24 divided by 2 equal? Jonathan, what does 36 divided by 2 equal? Thank you for paying attention. Alright, so the point of that is that these tables can go what? Can they go backwards and forwards?
Yes.
Why do you think it is that we can multiply to go one way and divide to go the other? Luis? Let me repeat the question. Why can we multiply to go from here to here, but divide to go from here to here? Why is that possible? Backwards? Okay, but why? Why is that possible? I'm doing the same numbers, but can I put 9 plus 2 equals 18?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Do what? When I multiply 9 times 2, okay, let's look at this way. What's 2 times?
So now that you've had an opportunity to observe me observing, I'd like to reflect on what happened while we were going through that process. Using the Gibbs reflection model, first of all, I'd like to describe what was happening and what we were doing. This happened in the morning. This was a 9:30 to about 10:45 class, so we got the kids when they were nice and fresh. It was in, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, a 4th grade math classroom. I was there simply to observe. I did rotate around, and the reason I rotated is because they were doing individual things, actually writing on their desktops, and so I really wanted to see what was happening. I had a retired teacher who was very kind and offered to video record me, so I had to do a little bit of redirecting for the teacher at sometimes to make sure she stayed on me, but outstanding help, and I truly appreciate her video recording me. What we did, I was there to observe, and like I mentioned at the beginning, I was looking at the teacher's, how she paid attention to different learning differences, her multicultural awareness, what her gender sensitivity was, and the ethnic appreciation that she had for the students in her classroom. As I mentioned before, the teacher was there. I was there, and there was a retired teacher who is a normal push-in tutor. The students are used to her being in the classroom. At this time, she just followed me around, just so we can observe and see what was happening with the students as they were going through the problem-solving process. What happened, again, the teacher introduced the lesson. The students then quickly began working, and you can tell from the way that they went through the process, they were familiar with this. This wasn't something new that they did just because I had come in to observe. I did sit and take numerous notes throughout the process. I then got up and rotated around, as I mentioned before. What I was doing as I was rotating around was kind of seeing how they talked to each other, but also getting that opportunity to see how the teacher spoke to students when they were getting stuck, who was talking to each other. It was very interesting to see that boys tended to only talk to boys and girls only talked to girls whenever they had a question, and you had some students who weren't talking to anybody. Other students did stay in their seats. You did notice throughout the video that they did feel comfortable enough to stand up if they wanted to stand up. Not everybody was required to stay in their seat, which is nice. And the result of that was having the opportunity to see a great lesson of problem solving and how the group of, 9 and 10-year-olds problem solved with one another, and also how the teacher supported that problem solving. The evaluation, the positive things that I would give to this teacher regarding her process, I would definitely say she has built a learning rapport in her classroom where students feel like they're able to get stuck. If they have a question or if they have a concern, they can ask one another. They can look to her for questions or concerns. Possibly a negative thing that I noticed, and maybe it's not, but she's very, very loud. And there were some students who almost felt, you can kind of see it in their facial expressions when she would come to ask them a question, sometimes that maybe they felt that they were in trouble because they weren't getting the answer or they seemed stuck at times. What went well throughout this observation was the opportunity to sit and observe and watch. She had a space for me where I was able to sit and not help, but sit and ensure that, you know, the things that I was trying to observe, the things that I was there to observe were observable. I think, what did I do and other people do to contribute to the situation? I wonder sometimes if, because there were 3 adults in the room, if the students felt that they couldn't share as much as they probably normally would share. It doesn't appear so, but I'd almost be interested to know, is there more discussion, is there more talking when there are fewer teachers in the room? Or if Ms. Bach, the retired teacher that was video recording me, helped facilitate more conversation if she wasn't following me around. The feelings that I had throughout this, it was a little nervous. It was a little nervous because I was looking at it from a different scope. I was looking at how this teacher did things on an administrative level, looking for specific things that were not curriculum based. As the instructional coach, when I go in and observe with teachers, it's very curriculum based. The teachers know what I'm looking for, and I tend to usually have an observation checklist where with this checklist I'm looking for specific things and I give feedback on that specific thing. These were a little more vague, so it was kind of hard to see multicultural awareness. I did have a discussion with the teacher afterwards to just kind of talk to her and explain, this is what I was looking for. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? What do you think? And come to find out, she is actually a teacher from Cedar Hill, also not Cedar Hill, North Dallas. And so she's had the experience of working with numerous different types of cultures. And we talked about, you know, where you put your hands when you talk to students, if you touch their shoulders or if you demand eye contact, things like that. She actually understands the difference of how in some cultures giving eye contact to women, especially if you're in trouble or in different situations, is not the most appropriate. So she does not demand that when she's talking to students. As long as they're participating in the discussion, she seems to be okay with it. While the situation was going on, I felt right at home. As nervous as I felt when I started, as soon as it began, it was not a problem. It was very comfortable, very understanding. It was fast taking notes while I went through that process, but I don't really think that that was it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be as I started going through it. The teacher was not nervous at all, and that was a great thing. And I think part of it is possibly the relationship and rapport that I have with this teacher prior to going in. Had I not told her what I was coming in for, or maybe didn't even have that relationship with her, she may have been a little bit nervous knowing somebody's coming in to observe me and looking for specific things. And in this case, maybe not even, you know, coming back and explaining what we did. After the situation, felt great. It went wonderfully. I'm very excited I had the opportunity to go through this with this teacher, with her class, and learn what I learned, especially knowing I was looking for specific things. And I did have, and I can't wait to share with you, an aha I had as a potential administrator. And then when I went back and talked to my administrators, how they said, oh yeah, that happens all the time. I think now the teacher's a little bit more reflective than I did talk to her, how she feels. She feels a little bit more reflective and understanding, and may even, there's some things, because I gave her feedback, that she's going to change. There are some things that I'm going to change because I do go into the classroom and help model and support, and so there are changes I'm going to make to the way I question and the things that I do to help the students in the classroom and help teachers. What I noticed most, so we talked about and what we looked at as I went through this process is I was looking for how she dealt with learning differences. And in regards to the teacher and how she was aware of the different learning differences with the students, I like how she grouped the students. From my knowledge of these students, I can tell that she had special ed students sitting with higher students, higher math students. She had boys and girls. She had an even mix. I actually drew a little chart of how many boys and how many girls and where they were sitting at the table. I did notice that when she had 2 boys or 2 girls, they were always sitting next to each other instead of maybe across from each other. The other thing that was very eye-opening when we talked about gender awareness is I started noting how many questions she had, and when she asked those questions, did she call on boys or girls? And just out of a 15 question, when I just decided to see what was happening, in 15 questions, she called on 13 boys and only 2 girls. When I went back and spoke to my administration about that, they said, oh, that happens all the time, especially in a math class, because what happens is boys tend to be more open to discussing and sharing in math, and teachers tend to call on boys more because they know that they know the answer, which I thought was very interesting. I also noticed that boys had more discussions with each other and more in-depth discussions than the girls. Girls would just kind of work it out quietly next to each other and look around, kind of looking for that affirmation of, do they have it right or not? Her multicultural awareness, like I mentioned in the introduction, we are a bilingual school. So as you look around the classroom, she does have, it's a math science classroom. She does have, multiple opportunities for content-rich vocabulary. And in some places, to help her students, she has some direct cognates underneath it. And it was interesting because there was a conversation at a table going on where students were explaining in Spanish. I don't think we got that in the video, but there was 2 students that were talking to each other, and she allowed that to continue instead of just going in and saying, nope, you have to speak in English. She allowed them to work through it together with each other. And then the ethnic appreciation, as I mentioned before, this teacher has an outstanding ability of making everybody feel welcome and everybody feel a part of the family in her classroom. There's no difference between whites and Hispanics and African Americans. Everybody was together. The seating was all diverse in her mixture of boys and girls, her mixtures of all the different races. There was no predominant everybody sat at one table, or that they segregated themselves, or that she had segregated students in the classroom. The actions that I would take from this point on, one of the things I would do, especially if I have this situation in the future, it would be a great opportunity for a staff development or professional development on campus to talk about, the biggest one for me is the gender awareness. And the gender awareness in a math classroom. It would be an outstanding staff development to either bring an organization in or just allow teachers to observe each other and then make a reflection on the questioning. Who's asking the questions, boys or girls? Who is the teacher calling on, boys or girls? And who's answering those questions? And give them that opportunity to begin to reflect as a professional educator and to help build those girls up. It's known that girls, tend to, oh, I'm not good at math, I can't do math, I don't want to do math, that's not something I'm good at, my mom wasn't good at it, but my dad was. So we need to kind of overcome this gender dissonance we have in math classes, and bringing that professional development in, giving teachers the opportunity to reflect and share with one another, have them give the feedback to each other before I go in as an administrator and say, okay, this is what we need to do, this is what you're doing. Have them try to fix those things on their own, reflect on their own, write about it, research it, and maybe even include ways in their lesson plans to ensure that they're getting more girls involved. One of the other thoughts is to even begin a girl math program or a STEM program and try to target girls in our schools to get them more excited about math and science and get them participating more. This is a huge change. This is a huge change of getting teachers to reflect and realize that they do this. I never knew that it happened, and the teacher that I was observing didn't know that this was a huge, thing that was happening in education. But it's a great opportunity to to make that change, at least in our campus, and then kind of spread that throughout the district and hope that we can get everybody else changing. Thank you for this opportunity. It was a very eye-opening chance to not only observe a teacher, but it was nice to sit and watch myself and how I observed. Am I actively participating as the observer? Am I writing notes? Am I taking good notes? Am I being a distraction as I observe? So I really like this opportunity of recording myself and reflecting not only on what's happening in the classroom, but my own practices as a potential administrator.